KATC Weather Lab. Here's Eric's forecast.
It's time to start digging out the rain gear again, along with getting those umbrellas ready, because you're going to need it later on tonight and throughout all of Thursday, as we're going to have rounds of showers and storms working their way into Acadiana, and they're going to be on the moderate to heavy side throughout a good bit of our Thursday. Finally coming to an end as we move into the early morning hours on Friday, but an isolated shower could even linger into Friday afternoon. Here's the big picture of the storm system starting to get its act together now along the Florida or Texas coast. That'll be moving in, and that's what's going to bring us the first round of showers and a good bit of moisture throughout our day on Thursday as it's tapping into that subtropical jet. So plenty of moisture down to our south that'll be slowly working its way over top the Bayou State tomorrow. And then our next storm system is this one out in the Rocky Mountains. That's what's going to bring us the cooler and drier weather as we push into the weekend. But we can see as we zoom in a little bit closer, we had the clouds move in throughout a good bit of our New Year's Day, keeping us on the gloomy side. But over the last hour or so, we're starting to see a few more of those light greens trying to push over top of Acadiana. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I don't know if this is really making it to the ground, and if it does, it's very light, maybe just a few sprinkles or some drizzles trying to make their way in, as we do have some dry air at the surface that it's trying to overcome. But later on, as we continue to get more of this moisture moving over, we'll start to make it to the ground, and those showers will start to pick up, especially after midnight and throughout a good bit of our Thursday. And that's how the model plays it. Some showers early, but it's not until really after midnight that we really start to see more of the steadier rains push into Acadiana, with some heavy rains as we go through the overnight hours. You can see this is 4 o'clock in the morning, starting to see more of the darker shades showing up, so definitely could have some heavy rains through the overnight. Should make for some great sleeping weather tonight, but it is going to make for some wet roadways tomorrow morning for those that have to head back to work. Might want to give yourself a couple extra minutes. Now, the main area of low pressure will start to move off, so we could even get a few breaks by first thing tomorrow morning, so hopefully it won't be too bad for that morning commute, but just keep in mind that you're definitely going to have those windshield wipers going. Then we're going to have some breaks, but then through the afternoon, as we have that front draped over top of us, we're going to get the rounds of these kind of streamer showers working their way off the Gulf and over top of Acadiana. And these are going to be the efficient rainmakers, so that's when we could start to see the flooding become a concern during the afternoon. Also, with the darker shades, that's where we can get some embedded thunderstorms that could be on the strong and severe side. So a couple different threats that we're going to have to pay attention to tomorrow afternoon. And then even as we go into the evening, still looking at those rounds of moderate to heavy showers pushing through Acadiana, and that's going to lead to some pretty high rain totals, as the latest model is going with anywhere from 1 to 3 inches just about area wide. You see those red shades, those are the higher amounts, so it does look like a good soaking. Thankfully, the ground's been relatively dry and the bayous are running low, so we can take on a good bit of water right now, but it is going to be close, and we could start to get some street flooding as we go later on into our Thursday and into Friday morning. Here's a look at the RPM model. Has that low moving over top during the overnight, making its way into northern portion, so it's just going to be more breaks and the rain first thing tomorrow morning. Have some steady readings overnight. Then as that front continues to be draped over us, that's where we're going to see those isolated storms continue to fire up. Mainly east of Lafayette and to the south, we'll have the best chance to see those stronger storms develop. Then I think it just becomes more steady, moderate to heavy rains on the backside of the front as we go throughout tomorrow afternoon into the evening and even into first thing Friday morning. So it's going to be a pretty wet 36 hours in store for us, maybe waking up to just some clouds, but an isolated shower could linger as then the secondary front comes in Friday afternoon, and that's when we start to get the cooler and sunnier conditions for the weekend. So here you can see through the overnight and into tomorrow afternoon, we're looking at 1 to 2 inches area wide. So that's when the bayous will start to pick up, and then as we get those additional rains tomorrow afternoon into the evening, that's when I think we could start to get the floodings, and you do see some hot spots starting to show up. So if you get those 5-6 inches, that's where we'll have to pay attention to some flooding. As mentioned, we're also looking at a marginal to possibly a slight risk for some severe weather. Damaging wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour will be the main threat, but an isolated brief tornado cannot be ruled out, but the tornado threat looks to only be about 1%. So it's a very low-end threat for tornado, more or less just looking at some damaging winds. So temperatures will actually be warming through the overnight into the upper 60s. That's going to increase the moisture, so good chance for showers throughout the first half of the day, leading to those heavy rains, and then even continuing through much of the evening and into the overnight hours, but eventually clearing out as we go into Friday. Sunshine returns as we go into the weekend with temperatures in the low to mid 60s, and then a relatively dry and cool week as we move into next week.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that sunshine come out again.
Yeah, I think we will all be ready for the sunshine after tomorrow.
All right, thank you, Eric.